All right, so this is a knife for a guy named Matt Tripp. He's up in Canada, and he has a proxy here in the States. I'm about ready to send this knife out. Today is the 3rd of September, 2018. This knife has been back to me twice. His proxy in the States keeps disassembling the knife and coming up with issues that he spots, I guess. And I'm more than happy to go through the knife and take a look at it. This time I kept it for a couple of weeks. Each other previous time that he had sent it to me, I had turned it around in a day. But I wanted to make sure I laid fresh eyes on it a couple times at this point because I wanted to make sure that this never comes back. Being that Matt's in Canada, I don't service things in Canada. It's part of the problem right now with Canadian politics and some issues with NAFTA, all this other stuff. I think they're kind of a little upset at us, and so they were snapping the blades on my knives, and I saw that Dave Curtis had been losing shipments of knives, $10,000 worth of knives that he had sent up, and got seized by Canadian RCMP or whatever they're called. So like I said, I don't want to have to deal with shipping internationally on these because I just don't know what that's going to be like. It's highly variable. So Matt's proxy had sent it back to me, complained of lock stick. As you can tell, absolutely no lock stick. It's not got a ridiculous amount of tension on the lock bar. I know that he had complained about that, but frankly, I find it to be perfectly acceptable. And if that's problematic for you, I don't know, go to the gym or something. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I don't want to be so cynical, but I think it's perfectly acceptable. This is not abnormal. It feels like a Sabinza. This thing flips great. As you can tell, there's not like a crazy amount of lock pressure that's pressing on the blade that's preventing it from opening. It actually flips really well. Matt had also asked for it to be the refinishing on the areas where the bearings contact, and I've already done that. It's internal, but this has a lot of Loctite on it, so I don't want to go and take that apart to do a video or whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to document this because it does seem like there are problems that crop up with Matt's proxy. I really dislike doing business through proxies, third parties, friend of a friend, especially people I don't know, because there are some people out there who frankly just, I'm not saying that Matt's guy is a troll, but there are some trolls out there, and some guys who just would love nothing more than to make my life miserable, because for whatever reason they just dislike me. Again, I'm not saying that it's Matt's guys like that, but there are people out there who just, I guess they disagree with a lot of the products that they get in their hand, and I'd rather do business directly, deal with people directly. But as you can tell, there's not an absurd amount of locking pressure on the blade. There's no lock play. You're going to have to take my word for it, because I'm using my other hand right now to film this, but there is no blade play on this knife. It's absolutely rock solid. If this suddenly crops up with lock play, I'll be very, very suspicious. As long as you keep the pivot tight, where it should be set, where your blade's centered and everything, the locking face and the angle that it contacts the lock bar with should be consistent, and it should be perfectly fine. It's going to lock up right about 30%, which is optimal lockup. And this has one of the brand new lock bars in it, circa August of 2018. Generation 3 lock bars, and as you can tell, it's got jewelling on the side. That's how you can tell just from a glance that this has the new lock bar, as it's got jewelling on all sides of the knife. So that's the knife that I'm sending back up to Matt, and hopefully it finds him well.